So I've probably talked before about patterns that I encounter when you work with enough people on a regular basis, probably in any field. Maybe you're a hair cutter or a medical doctor or dentist or a postal worker, bartender. Like, you, human beings are pretty universal. Like, we're diverse in our expression when we're being authentic, but so much is shared. And it's really interesting to see these patterns when people do the work the kind of work they do with me, which is going beneath the surface level where we don't even know what we're going to find. It's certainly not what meets the eye, and it's certainly not what conventional behaviors are pointing to. Even the happiest people can come in for whether it's psychotherapy or spiritual support or something else that I'm offering. Appearances can be deceiving. And often these people with very different appearances come and something is revealed that is so common. And so this week, there's just this common theme that wants to be pointed to. Again, not in any one particular person. When enough people share these themes, and it just, it might seem personal. But we're really not that complex. And you might hear me naming this universal theme and feel that it doesn't belong or apply for you in this moment, which absolutely might be true. I'm not saying that every person on the planet is experiencing this right now. And to know that the level of surrender and process and work it takes to turn towards what we avoid, it might be hidden for you. If not now, then it might be surfacing in a masked way at another time, and that is this I'll just put it in terms of a core belief because that's the easiest language that comes up here, but there are many other ways to point to it in the body, in the conditioning, in the mind, in the heart, emotionally, psychologically, but in terms of core beliefs, like this belief that there's something wrong with me. What's wrong with me? And I'm cutting right to the chase because it really takes a lot to get to this surrendered point of when it comes to the root of just, usually it comes with a sigh or an ache and the shame. That's very arguably one of the most painful emotions to feel, of just like, what's wrong with me? To really feel that is maybe the most painful thing. So I don't expect that me cutting to the chase is going to cut to the chase for anyone inquiring or, well, I'm not going to make assumptions, but I am going to say that there's so much guardedness and defense protecting us from getting to this place often. And the reason why people often seek me is the downstream effects of running away from this. What's wrong with me. That might look like, because it's so uncomfortable and raw and truly shattering, when we feel into this fundamental sense of being bad and broken and rejected or unworthy or toxic or inadequate, unloved. It's beyond words in the same way that love is beyond words. So it's taken and run with screens and addictions and work and relationships and needing to achieve, needing to be busy, needing to take care of others, needing to like all the downstream that becomes painful can be seen as a form of resistance or suffering, because if we were really honest, all of those behaviors feel like running, if that's the impetus beneath them. I'm not saying that any of one of those individual behaviors is wrong, but any behavior can become avoidance and any behavior can become suffering if it's not authentic. So I love people so much. I'm just the faces and the hearts of those that I work with are just popping up in the sense of like someone asked me recently, like, I'm sure you don't like everyone you work with. I'm sure there's people that annoy you, or if you're really being honest, which I get, like, and I, on some level, I don't disagree with, but on another level, like the work that I do, this turning towards work, whether clinically, mental health wise, or spiritually, in non-dual awakening, or whatever labels you want to put on it, which are increasingly less interesting to me, but there's a utility, so I use them. When someone is being authentic, and what I mean by that is how to put it into words. Open to unraveling all of the pulls and ties tugging us away from just this, whether that be someone as authentic in their feelings of confusion, or someone is authentic in their feelings of pride and clarity, or someone's authentic in their feelings of aversion, avoidance, aggression, abuse. I've never, ever, even someone authentic in meeting and feeling that I'm not a good fit for them, like I've never ever met someone in authenticity that I didn't love. And of course that love doesn't belong to me, but that love didn't arise. It's very clear when that authenticity is not there, and I wouldn't name that as I'm disliking someone. Those words like or dislike don't even feel relevant just generally in my life anymore, so maybe I'm not even talking about my work, but it came up in this question, so I thought it was interesting. And how does it apply to what I've been talking about? Yeah, just the theme of this week. I'm just smiling at that horn. Like, even that horn, the authenticity of it, like, um, when people are really being open in their openness, open in their closedness, authentic, I guess is an easier word to translate. My heart, my little heart just melts. Like, it's just so, they're their 8-year-old self. Like, they're their pure human gift in that moment to me. And it's beautiful how every person's authenticity is so different. Like, we never get sick of, even though these people are all working with what's wrong with me, this shame, and the theme of this week that I'm pointing to. It's like that um, variation on the theme, like it comes up so differently and so similarly in the same way. It's so poetic, and when they actually get through the resistance and avoidance, like, and the heart opens, like even the most shame laden, like grief stricken, self-loathing laden sharing and experience becomes so poetic and freeing, and it's such a gift to be around. And so to sit with these forms of process, and there's a reason why I don't record and share, and not that I'm judging others for doing that, but what happens here, in the personal work that I do, is quite sacred. You can interpret sacred in whatever way you want, but the way I'm conveying it right now is such a minuscule fraction of the direct experience of it. And you know it. Everyone has had an experience of authenticity, turning towards awakening. Like, it's all the same thing, awakening and authenticity. Like, I wouldn't really even distinguish between, it's not important, those semantics, to me anymore. I mean, I don't know if it ever was, but I don't know that there's anything more valuable and more powerful. The power to hook in with somebody else in that space and resonate. Like, it takes like quite a bit of energy to reject someone's authenticity. It's naturally magnetic. It draws us, even in your shame, even in your feeling of what's wrong with me. Because then to sit with that in the gift of these people this week, like, to see, and this isn't me giving an instruction practice or like tools or ways to get to this. That's not what this is. I'm pointing to a possibility and a universal experience that I've been wading in with folks this week that may or may not apply to you. And this is not something to feel like needs to be attained or done, or maybe it already has been. That this is just a pointing. So take it with a grain of salt. I know there will be people that want to argue, and some of them are my dear loved ones, and so it's fine if you want to argue with the semantics I'm using. It's fine, but just to the best that I can describe, this is a pointing that when awakening arises, or authenticity or openness to what's here in this moment arises in a moment of really unearthing this experience of what's wrong with me, I'm broken, I'm bad, that maybe has been hidden under so many rocks and stones and pieces and distractions, and it's taken so much to get to this place. And I'm not even gonna give you examples of stories to how this wound got there, this belief, this identity of the broken one or the bad one got there, because you can imagine the trauma and suffering and attachments that create that. But this radical moment of no longer running, or somehow the conditions have been dialed down so that the fear is a little bit softer and there's an ability to be directly with this experience of the most painful thing. It's possible. And nobody's doing it. Nobody's making it happen. Nobody's giving it, nobody's receiving it, but it is possible for forgiveness to come online, to come in. Might feel like I forgive myself for being the one that was wrong, for messing up, for hurting others, or I forgive myself for blaming myself, or I forgive the world for blaming me, or the world forgives itself for the conditioning that brought this belief into the nervous system, into the body, into the muscle memory, into the family system, and all of the truth that's there of this real experience of there's something wrong with me. That forgiveness can't happen, doesn't happen, isn't even possible. There's no space for it without the radical shift into realizing that that's that identity, that identification, that solidification, that apparent mechanism that pushes everything away because this is who I believe I am, is happening. It's a turning towards, it's a seeing what's been in the shadows, what's been avoided, this awful, awful me that I never wanted to be but always believed that I was. liberation doesn't come from running faster. So that's the theme for this week. And yeah, be curious if it's alive for you too.